Hello. Sorry about the stream suddenly ending. Uh, my game decided to crash the moment I hit return to VAB. So you love when that happens. But I haven't lost anything from it, so just keep going. Fix the probe so that it isn't sideways. Yeah. Oh yeah, every time the game crashes when I have a save load, it corrupts the data. But so far I haven't lost anything from that, so fingers crossed. Right. Which way do I turn it? Okay, I see now. Hello, join. We are launching to Eve. We'll get in the air in just a moment. Just fixing my probe real quick. Oh, that's not right. Okay, that should be better. And they've left. Wunderbar. That's not correct staging. Okay. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, this will be our... Ooh. Okay. This will be our circularization burn. Okay. I can jet this. There's the probe. Right, little trick to getting your burns correct. You begin your burn when you are half of the burn time away from the node. If you see the bottom right of the nav ball, it says burn time and node in T minus. The T minus is the time until the node that I placed, and the burn time is the time it will take to complete the burn. So I have to burn at 42 seconds away from the node. My maths is shit. I get 42 seconds away from the node. So speed up a bit by time warping. No, stop. Fuck off. Fuck off. Okay, that wasn't very helpful, but we're going now. There's my majestic rocket. Got that off. You know, I'm gonna revert quickly, just so I can add some little boosters on the side. I'm not sure how I burnt for that Delphi so fast, but anyhow. Just gonna add, probably 2 will be enough, I think. 2 side-mounted boosters, just using these small parts. Use the Reliant engine. It's the most powerful engine that can fit that size. So move it down so it's a similar placement with the main engine. Okay. Like that. Might be enough. Don't know. Had 4 in a second. When in doubt, add more boosters. That's what I go by. Add struts to make sure that it stays in place and not wobbling. Then we add these fuel thingies, fuel ducts, so that we can siphon fuel out of these side boosters into the main rocket, so that when these detach, this main stage will be fully fueled, like it never even left off the pad. Only downside from that is that these side boosters will run out of fuel even quicker, because not are they only providing fuel for their own engine, but they'll also be providing fuel for this big boy mainsail right here, because they're giving it the fuel. But that's why I'm gonna double these up. Just so that we have no doubts that this will... Whoa, how's that dropped? so much. Oh, where? Why does this stage have... You don't even have an engine, mate. How do you have so much? Alright. I will opt to ignore that and launch anyway. I'm hoping that's just a glitch, because that stage doesn't even have an engine. It's just decouplers. It's only decouplers there. Oh well. Wait till I watch. So these side boosters will run out of fuel pretty quickly, as you can see on the left side. The 4 bars are running down very fast. Oh, I see. Oh, fuck me. That's a bit too much. Too much off the top. Now boost them off and see the main stage is still fully fueled. Let me know if you've left the pad. But except we're now 15 kilometers, 15 miles, meters up, 15,000, whatever it is, we're higher, but we have still enough fuel. That's the point I'm making. Throttle back at this point to not waste fuel unnecessarily. Check the apoapsis, as by this point it starts to level out a bit, and we stop burning at 100,000 meters or miles, whatever it is. I don't know what it measures by in this game. So that's 88 and that's 116. We could change that by changing the point where we begin the burn. Move it that way a bit. So now it's 95 and 108. We can change that a bit. So it's now 99 and 104. I'll take that. Burn time is now way lower because we're not using this upper stage, because there's now more fuel in this stage to use. I call that great success, and you see we'll be left with around 400 meters a second of delta V in this first stage. So we probably could have got by with only 3 boosters on the side, maybe even 2, something like that. 17 seconds to begin the burn. So when we are 17 seconds away from the node, we will begin the burn. We're pretty close to it already, so I'll just let it coast up. Get this off as well. Shed a bit of weight. Not very much weight, but every little helps. So let's wait a few more seconds until we get to 17 seconds. And burn. So you see the orange line, the orange dotted line is where we want to end up, and the blue line is how we currently are. And you see that's increasing, right? It's growing, and eventually, once this bar reaches nothing, it should be almost identical to the orange dotted line. Give it a little more whelly in that. That's fine. There we are. A nice, pretty circular orbit with a kilometer or so to give. Now we set Eve as our target. There's the 402 meters per second left. I hate wasting any amount of fuel because I'm very paranoid that I'll run out of fuel at some point. So I'm not going to chuck away this first stage because I hate doing that. So we are going to map out. That's what we could do actually. Now that we've taken off the shield, we can extend the solar panels to gain some electricity back for our batteries. See a couple of seconds as they're fully extended. It should skyrocket in a second because they have a direct line. Yep, there you go. And the battery packs are quickly recharging because of the solar panels, which aren't both deploying for some reason. And now that we've done that, we can also extend the antenna. We don't necessarily need it right now, but it keeps us linked up to the KSC. Signal strength 100%. It won't be affecting anything right now, but as we get further away and closer to Eve, this will drop down to nothing if we get too far away from Eve. Like for example, if we're by the time already at Eve, and let's say Eve is now over here, where my cursor is, and Kerbin's over here, we won't have a link to Kerbin, even if we had the antenna or not. But if it's closer, like here, actually we might have a link over there, but I don't know. But it'll be weakened, like quite a lot. I don't explain it, but it keeps us linked up to the KSC better. That's what I'm trying to say. So we need to stay linked to make these moves as well, because we don't have a pilot like Jebediah or the man's in the house knowing. That's a good encounter, but not what I want. So we have to burn even more and more. I encountered the one again. No. Okay, so that encounter's disappeared. Need to change that. We change where we burn. Yep. Now, why aren't they connecting too high? Go to the purple ones. Oh, that's done something. There we go. Now we can see, because it's going through there, we have an encounter with Eve. So focus view on Eve. Zoom in. You can see that line is very high above Eve, which doesn't matter at all right now, because once we're midway through, like for example, by the time we're around this point in the dotted line, I can make something called a mid-course correction burn, and that would cost way less delta V to get a better line to Eve doing it there than, for example, doing it right now when we're still affected by Kerbin's gravity. Because it would cost hundreds, maybe even thousands more delta V to better line up this with Eve. So for now, this line is just fine. We could even just use this, but it would take much more energy to circularize from this than if we just moved closer, using like 10 or 20 meters a second delta V at this point. So the rocket's just trying to lock onto the maneuver node. Burn time is 1 minute and 41 seconds, so minute 30 seconds, 50, let's call it 50 seconds. There's no point in halving that 1 second, because you don't need to be that accurate with it, but let's call it 50 seconds. But we're 20 minutes away, so to get to the 20 seconds, or 50 seconds I mean, time warp. Until we get to a bit over 1 minute. So stop. Oh, that's too much. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to quick save. So call it 50 seconds, or 50 secs, to Eve Eat Burn. So I know what that means, and that's all that matters. These are all quick saves from my Duna mission. I can delete these to make it less confusing later on, when we have more quick saves. Delete a bunch of those. There we go, so now it's only this mission's quick saves. So 50 seconds to Eve Int Burn. So that's 50 seconds until the Eve Intercept burn. So we'll just wait until it gets to 50 seconds. And then we'll burn. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm being thick. Yeah. So burn when it gets to 50 seconds. And burn. And in a second we have to deploy this stage because it's nearly out of fuel. No. And this engine has pretty decent efficiency, but it also has very low thrust, and that's the reason why this burn takes so long. Because at first it's gone by pretty fast with that stage back there, but this has to be efficient. It doesn't need to be fast, it just has to be efficient. So we just have to kind of wait just another minute for a little while. There we go, that's just turned. Not sure why. Oh, it turned. It usually does that when it's not far from becoming escaping Kerbin's sphere of influence. Influence. Here we go, it's getting pretty close. So the orange line is meeting the purple one. For some reason it changed from the orange dotted to being purple dotted. I'm going to stop burning for a second. Get closer in on Eve. And make a very small amount of burn so I can better manage the line into Eve. It doesn't really matter too much where I end up in Eve's influence. It just has to be somewhere in there. There it is, purple line going through Eve. So we now have an encounter with Eve's sphere of influence, but that isn't enough. So we can start a burn. Put there. Doesn't matter if you put it anywhere. Just has to be somewhere along this route. But I like to put it somewhere along the midpoint. So we get the purple one, and we lower that down. Because I want to get nice and equatorial with Eve. And what that means, if you don't know, is so it can be like on the equator, at the very midpoint of the planet. And at this point it can get very finicky, especially on console. So you have to like get the very precise. Looking a bit crooked. That's odd. I don't know if I can even fix that, but it doesn't matter too much. It just could be a bit annoying later on. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I can't fix that. I don't think, but don't matter too much. And in case you haven't been able to notice already, Eve has water and is purple. And it also has a very, very thick atmosphere. And it starts at around 90 kilometers. So I'm trying to get this at around 130 kilometers. 150, I'll take that. I'll take that. That's good enough. Ooh, that's cost me quite a lot, LV that has. Not to fear, doesn't matter too much. Because I may not even have to use the final stage, or at least not very much, because it's from this point it's only getting circularized around Eve, and then we're done with this stage. And the rover on the land, somewhere near the shore, not in the water, because that'll make it useless. Just somewhere around the shore. Yeah, you can see we're still very close to Kerbin. Only now 430 meters. 430,000 meters above the surface. So we have to time warp away, but like that, because that will be weird. We have to select the point close to the bit. So that's 141 days to get to that place. Yes. You see Kerbin very quickly disappears, and you can see us moving around the sun. And what to say at this point, just travel into the maneuver node. And we'll do this burn when we are 13 seconds away, because it's a 26-second burn time. Faster than that. Faster, faster. Yeah, I'm gonna go into the map view now and just hone in on Eve. And then gradually time warp till we get to 13 seconds. Takes us a little while, but it'll all be grand in the end. I don't actually necessarily need this relay orbit. I could just stick a bigger antenna on the rover and just make sure that Eve is close to Kerbin and the surface is also pointing towards Kerbin. But that would mean that we'll be always driving in the dark, and that the solar panels will be partially obstructed whenever we're driving, because the big relay antenna, which you see on the top of this probe, will be obstructing the solar panels, so we can get power. Anyway, load time is in 30 seconds, and we need to be 13, so we're just waiting. Orange line's up there where we're going, purple line here is where we want to be. So we're pointing basically. My controller is time for my controller to die. 2 seconds away from the burn. Burn. I've got it on charge now. Now we're just waiting for that line to come down here. Maybe I'm not burning in the optimal place or something, I don't know. Maybe it's because the craft is still quite heavy. Very awkward line there, but it warps around as we get lower to Eve, and eventually it will just match this bubble here. Oh no. Okay, anyways, never mind that. I thought I saw something, but I didn't. There we go, so that is now where we're going to be. Periapsis is at 148,000 meters, 148 kilometers above the surface of Eve. So, periapsis, so apoapsis and periapsis are similar things, but also complete opposites. Periapsis tells you the lowest point that you're going to get on your current heading without changing anything. So for right now, that's 148 kilometers above the surface of Eve, and apoapsis tells you the highest point in your journey without changing anything. Where's my apoapsis? Okay, I don't think it's showing right now for some reason, but it doesn't matter. We need to pay attention to that. Oh no, it's still up here. So apoapsis is now around the sun, because we're not actually circularized around Eve, and it's at 35 billion meters. I think it's billion? Yeah, that's billion, isn't it? Billion meters above the sun. And it's changing for some reason. I don't know why. But that's not important. Oh yeah, see, the probe is currently still pretty close to Kerbin, and you see, because we have the antenna deployed, it still has 100% connection to Kerbin's crater rim, just like this different satellite stations around. But you'll probably see in a second that when we pull this away, see instantly it's not connected because it's too far away. But then as soon as it gets fully extended again, it reconnects. Boop, there you go. Because this is the most powerful antenna in the game. It has 100G. Don't know what it means, but the higher the G, the better. I point it retrograde, just prepare for the future. So now that we have a course with Eve, we now want to prepare for circularization. So get it nice and neat across the periapsis. And now pull this yellow line all the way back so that it would slow the craft down. Just planning ahead, like I said. We're past circularization. Well, it's very accurate because it goes by very fast. There you go, check that. Oh, it's bang on. Nice. So, 4 km difference between periapsis and apoapsis. I will take that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a generally circular orbit. Okay, so it dips into the final stage for probably not even like a second or two. But we have over 4,000 meters a second in this stage, or in this final stage, which is in all this up here is oxidizer tanks, and there's this fuel tank. We'll walk with you in just a second, so I'll let you drift in space for a little while.